Hi Engineering Janta, I am Vaibhav Shukla and today we'll be understanding the preparation plan for Wipro Turbo Hiring. Look, I have specifically conducted a live for the details about this hiring, about the link of the application. So if you want to see that, you can go ahead on our YouTube channel. You can go into the live section and in that you will find the live stream on this Wipro Turbo. Also, I'll tell my team to put that link in the description box so you can find it there as well. So let's dive in deep today into the preparation plan, because a lot of students were asking that I am not able to manage things in a structured format, and how to do that, please you tell us. So for that I am here and let's go ahead and understand it. But before I dive in deep, you go ahead, follow us on these social media handles so that you never miss any hiring update, and do comment wherever you're facing the problem in your preparation. I'll help you out with that. My team would sit and help you out with that, and you can stand a chance to win the Prep Insta Prime subscription for free if you comment it out, because top 3 comments usually stand a chance for that. Fine. So let's dive in deep and understand the skeleton of the exam first, because it is essential that before we dive in deep into the topics to study, it is essential that we know well that which topics or which sections are there in the exam and how we can structure our preparation. So Wipro Turbo Hiring online assessment involves few segments. Fine. So these are the 3 segments: aptitude test, coding test and written communication test. In the aptitude test, your quants would be tested in the quantitative ability subsection. In the subsection of logical reasoning, your reasoning skills would be tested and your verbal ability skills would be tested in another subsection. Fine. So the number of questions that you are approximately having are 16, 14 and 18 to 22 respectively for all these subsections. Now let me tell you, all this that is written here has not been officially given by Wipro. Let me tell you this. Wipro never releases the exact number of questions, the exact time duration, what exactly would be the format of test. They never give it out. Fine. But they give a brief format. They give a blanket statement kind of a pattern where somebody could roughly analyze things. But we as an organization, we as a team, I as an individual have seen so many people who have given Wipro tests, so many of my students who have given Wipro tests, and we have year by year seen the pattern, how it has changed, how it has evolved. So according to that, I have created this blueprint, and you can consider this as your almanac for preparing your particular exam. Fine. This particular blueprint can be the first page of your almanac if you're preparing for this exam. Fine. So in this, what you can do is, you can imagine that roughly a minute a question is available here. Per minute, per question should be solved. Kind of that setup is given here in the aptitude section. It would be good if you try and solve this in 40 minutes. Apart from this, there would be a coding test in which you have 2 questions. First one is generally basic, the second one is generally advanced. Fine. So in this case, you will have 60 minutes for coding, specifically for coding, and then you will have a written communication test where there would be 1 question you will be writing. Usually there is something involved around communication. Sometimes it is essay writing, sometimes it is comprehension, understanding, some things like that in the written communication test. Fine. The overall duration is approximately around 128 minutes, and the total number of questions that you generally have is 51 to 55 total questions. Fine. So if I go ahead and tell you about quants, let me tell you, each and every section is super important for this particular exam, because here the number of the package that is being offered to you is 5.5 LPA. Fine. So if they are giving it, which is naturally higher than the other profiles they hire for, they are hiring for project engineer. Fine. So in this case, they'll expect you to be good in almost every domain. So people who are performing bad in aptitude, they might not land up this job. I always say 80% of people get rejected in the aptitude section itself. Here in quants, you have to study these topics, which are elementary statistics like profit loss, SI, NCI, time, speed and distance, inverse, problem on trains, geometry, coordinate geometry, permutation, combination, probability, logarithms, a lot of quant topics. And what you can do is, you should first of all daily devote at least 1 hour to quants, logical and verbal. Daily 1 hour. Fine. I'm not saying you devote 1 hour to quants, 1 hour to logical. Not like that. 1 hour, keep it for aptitude. Either practice quant, either practice verbal, either practice logical. Divide your way of structuring. Fine. For example, your week looks like this: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Fine. So your week looks like this. Here 1 hour of quants, next day 1 hour of reasoning, another day 1 hour of quants, another day 1 hour of reasoning, then again quants, then again reasoning or verbal if you want to keep verbal and verbal. So quants you practice for 3 days, reasoning and verbal you practice for 2 days. Fine. Each for 2 days in the week, and 1 hour, this 1 hour should be for aptitude preparation only. Why am I saying that you keep quants for 3 days? Generally people are weak in quants. If you're somebody who's very good in quants, you can change the 3 days to 2 days, and whatever you're weak in, for example, if you're weak in reasoning, put reasoning for 3 days. If you're weak in verbal ability, put verbal for 3 days. Fine. So you have to study these topics, and generally 75% should be the ideal score to clear it with flying colors. Fine. So post this you have logical reasoning. In logical reasoning these topics are available to you. Fine. Coding, deductive logic, blood relations, directional sense, selection decision tables, analogy, classification, coding pattern, odd man out, syllogism, all of these topics. Fine. Now where do you find them? How do you prepare for them? I'll come to it. I'll come to the preparation portion of it, don't worry, I'll show you. So here also you have to be very, very careful with each topic. Why am I saying so? For example, if you see, if 14 questions are coming, fine, if 14 questions are being asked here, then in this sense approximately 11 to 12 questions is a good score to target. Through it you can easily pass this particular subsection. But if you leave any of the topics from here, say you left this analogy and classification, right, and now 2 questions come from it, these are the 14 questions. Everybody have to correctly perform 12 out of 14 questions. Fine. But if you have left these 2 questions, now these 14, this 14 number would become 12 for you, isn't it? So you have to correctly mark all the questions which is 100%. Your cutoff has been 100% if you leave a single topic here. Fine. To that extent sometimes matrix of exam changes. So you should understand it well, that do not put yourself in such a situation where you have to perform much better than other candidates to get selected. Be in a situation where pragmatically you can clear this test by easily performing the questions. Keep a buffer amount with yourself as well of questions. Fine. Apart from this, verbal ability. When I come to verbal ability, synonyms, antonyms, error identification, sentence improvement. Most importantly, error identification is something where a lot of people falter, so you should be very, very careful about this. Synonyms, antonyms and contextual vocabulary, these are very, very frequently asked topics, so you should not miss on their practice. Tenses and articles, not very frequently asked, but tenses and articles are used throughout these topics, so you should not miss out on them. And reading comprehension, basically reading speed should be very good. Fine. Now how you can prepare for them? If I show you, you go to this particular website called as Prep Insta Prime. Fine. You have often seen me telling about this, because here you have that luxury where you can easily prepare. Fine. For example, you open this Wipro NLTH course. In this everything would be available in detail to you, for Turbo as well. This works for Turbo as well. Fine. Here everything is structured. Fine. You practice full length mocks, more than 300 plus quizzes, everything available at one place. Fine. Very simple thing. And you can attempt all the mocks. You have proper divided sections, you have proper topics written here, and this is a one stop solution. देखो, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि फ्री में तैयारी नहीं होती, फ्री में भी तैयारी होती है, but to prepare for free, you need to put a lot of hard work, a lot of effort yourself. बहुत सारा effort, बहुत सारा hard work, बहुत सारा time देना पड़ेगा, resources collate करने पड़ेंगे, चीजें लिखनी पड़ेंगी, बहुत मेहनत लगेगी honestly speaking. ठीक है, time अभी कम है, fine. So to get the maximum output in a limited time, you need a push, a structured course, a place where you find everything at one place and you can sail through. आपके पास time नहीं है उतना, ठीक है, but for the people who have certain base, and if you're having some financial struggle, then I would not say that you go for it. Then you prepare yourself, put extra time, put extra efforts. I'll tell you how to prepare in free as well. Tension मत लो, मैं दोनों तरीके से बताऊंगा. Important is कि आपका selection हो जाए. Fine. In this, what you can do is, you go to this Get Prime section. You select any plan, for example, 3 months. And for all those who are struggling in any case, what you can do is, in this coupon code you type Shukla10. Fine. This can help you out if you want to. This will give you further additional discount. So this is one thing. Apart from this, here you will also have guidance for interview preparation. You will also have guidance for DSA, and alongside this you will have access to 200 plus courses. Fine. But if you're somebody who wants to prepare for free, then what to do? In free, you'll have a few challenges that you'll have to cater yourself, but I'll still show you the way to do that. You go ahead, search for Wipro Turbo Prep Insta. Fine. And you'll have this Wipro Turbo for yourself. Fine. So you have this Wipro Turbo syllabus 2025. In this, you can go ahead and see the proper topics here written. You go ahead and start preparing with these topics. Everything is written here in detail. Now you find resources for yourself. How do you find resources? I am also giving you the free resources for it. Fine. What you can do is, on prepinsta.com, you go ahead and access the free quizzes of Wipro Turbo. That would help you out. Secondly, there is a book for quants, that is for quants. I'll write it here for quants. It is R.S. Agarwal. There is one more publication of the same author which caters for verbal ability. Otherwise, anything from Arihant Publications. Fine. And nobody of them has given me any brand promotion. Nobody of them has given me any brand promotion. I'm just giving it out of my experience because they were helpful to me, but I had invested a lot of time and effort. Fine. So for verbal, it is this, and for logical reasoning, any book from Disha Publications can help you out. It was good for me. Fine. So this is one thing. Apart from this, when I go to the coding section, because then whatever comes in the written communication assessment, that you have to practice from the various sources where you can write or type essays, you can type the answers for the comprehensions. Fine, you have to practice that. But for coding, there will be 2 questions, one basic, one advanced, which basically means one would be basic and easy in nature, another would be moderately tough. Fine, you'll have 60 minutes and you should pass all the test cases to land up for the business discussion or the interview round. Fine. Now for the first coding question, these can be the topics: basic looping, functions, recursion, coordinate geometry, strings, mathematical logics, ASCII related codes, number conversions, pattern printing, matrices. Fine, all these things can be asked. And now how you can prepare is, first thing, either you go to Prime Wipro course, straight away you land up, or you go to the basic coding course on Prime, intermediate coding course on Prime. That would help you out. Step-by-step guidance where you will be taught coding through videos. Fine. Now, if you're somebody who has good revision of basics and he knows a bit, then you can go to the prepinsta.com and there you reach to the top 100 codes page. There you will find very, very specific columns where you can study, and this is for free. So you can study it there. Also, for the people who want to cover DSA, we are regularly building a playlist of DSA where I constantly put videos explaining the basic concepts, explaining the implementations, solving few problems which are of very good category. So you can see that, but alongside that, I specifically focus on the top 100 codes. If you have top 100 codes on your fingertips, nobody can beat you out in the first question at least. Fine. At least one question would be easily solved. If you practice hard, and if you want, you can go ahead, top 150 not out list from Prep Insta. You can check this out. You type this out in the Google and you will find the page. It is only for the people who have studied DSA earlier, at least basics. You can start practicing questions from here. If you have this list on your fingertips, you can actually beat anyone in this world in the competition first. Secondly, you can crack any company in this world. They are not just 150 questions, but the foundational patterns through which questions are made. Fine. Apart from this, you have the second coding question out of these advanced topics, basically advanced arrays, advanced strings, dynamic programming, greedy programming, graphs, trees, binary search trees, BFS, DFS, heaps, Cadena algorithm, 1-0 knapsack problem, binary search trees, as I told you, infix, postfix, prefix, queues, stacks, basically diving deep into DSA. And you can find that on Prime as well in the competitive coding course, DSA course and Wipro course that I showed you. Now apart from this, when you enter the Wipro Turbo preparation section, where you're preparing for business round or the interview round, what you can do there? First is you need to know a language, and this is also important for the coding round. Fine. There in the coding round, you have to choose one language out of C, C++, Java or Python. So you should be fluent in one of these languages. Now if you're not fluent in any of these languages, how do you study these languages? Simple, go to Prep Insta Prime, either study from there or figure out some good books where you can study these particular languages. For all those who do not have the necessary finances, I can tell you the free resource for studying as well. For Java, there's a book called as E. Balaguru Swami. Fine. E. Balaguru Swami, a wonderful author for Java. You can study that. C from Dennis Ritchie, you can study. C++, any good book on C++ or Python would work. इन पर तो playlists भी बहुत हैं, ठीक है? तो that would help you out. Then top 100 codes for interview should be revised. Basic intermediate coding should be revised. DSA for service-based companies should be revised. You can find the topics on Prime for that. You can hop on to that. Now, your resume must be very well crafted, and for that you should watch my resume guidance live. You can find that in our live section, the ultimate resume prep. I'll make sure you have that link in the description box as well, so you can find it on that video as well. How to structure your resume such that you have an ATS friendly resume, because certifications add a value to it. So that is why I have written it here. If you have any good certification from any good organization, good to go. If you are from any government organization, good to go. But if you're somebody who doesn't have any certification, Prime solves this problem as well. But what you can do is, if you're in the penultimate year of graduation or in the final year of graduation, nowadays there are multiple internships and trainings going on from the ISRO, DRDO and organizations like that. So you can go there, fine. Also, apart from this, you should have, you can leave certifications, but you can't leave projects. Certifications add weight to your resume, but projects are a must to your resume. They must not be absent, fine. They are very, very necessary. For that, I have given you a video of top 5 projects. You can go ahead and watch that on our YouTube channel. There, I have given a specific resume description of each project as well, which is ATS friendly. You can take inspiration from that, learn from that, put it in your resume, fine. Also, apart from this, these are the CS fundamentals that you have to study. Now, how do you study them? For DBMS and SQL, and I have told this in many videos, so who watch me constantly would realize this. Keys should be learnt well. SQL is very, very necessary. DDL, DML, DCL, fine. DML, DCL, etc. And then apart from this, you should study normal forms. Relational DB DB and ER diagram, relational databases and ER diagrams. This is for DBMS and SQL. When it comes to OS, one is process scheduling. Fine, process scheduling you should not miss. Apart from this, you should not miss on process synchronization. And in process synchronization also, you should study semaphores specifically. Very, very necessary. Semaphores. Fine. It is not letting me write, so I'll manage it somehow. Don't worry. I'll write it here. Semaphores. Fine. Then you should be studying deadlocks, banker's algo. Oh no. So fine, I'll write that again. For all those who are watching this, you can go back and see those topics. I'll write from deadlocks. So deadlocks, banker's algo, and apart from this, deadlock and banker's algo, apart from this, in OS, you should study disk scheduling and a bit of paging. Fine, so this covers OS. Now after covering OS, what etc. or what extra you can particularly study? One is CN, fine, which is computer networks. So for that, for CN, you should study network basics first of all, then OSI versus TCP model, then STP versus UDP, fine, STP UDP differences, then network security, cryptography and digital signatures, and protocols. Where do you find them? You find them in two books. Either you hop on, study these necessary topics from Prime, there you simply have it, or you have it in two good books, which are Tannenbaum and Behrouz. This is first book, this is second book, Behrouz Forouzan. Both are the names of the authors. I have told these names enough times, I have given it in many videos that these two books can be helpful for CN. First author is Tannenbaum, and I have personally read it. I have personally read that book, and it is wonderful book. It was told to me by my teacher. All credits go to him. If I am telling you this, if I am standing here, मैं अपने teachers का बनाया व्यक्ति हूँ, ठीक है? I was not worthy enough to speak anything. They made me what I am today. Fine. So for this, I give all the credits to them. Apart from this, you can go ahead and study SDLC. In this, you should study waterfall model. Fine, waterfall model you can study. You can study V model. You can study spiral model. And apart from that, software testing, black box, white box. Fine, black box, white box testing. Also some fundamentals of software testing, but alongside that, agile methodologies. Fine. So agile methodologies for fundamentals. Now after studying this, GD, HR, puzzles, guesstimates, case studies, easily available on Prime. If you're somebody who's not enrolled into it, what you can do is practice group discussion with your friends for HR interviews. Go ahead, extensively see some questions on Glassdoor, on various ambition box like sites where you can check the HR questions. Puzzles, guesstimates, you can find it somewhere or the other on the internet. You can practice if you are going for the free. Fine. Then these advanced topics, DSA advanced, competitive coding, advanced projects, what you can do is, one thing is either you go to Prime as I told you, or what you can do is you go ahead and figure out some advanced projects. Figure out some very difficult problems on DSA if you're not feeling enough with this preparation. However, telling you realistically and pragmatically, this much preparation is enough to clear Wipro business discussion round. Fine. If you can clear this, then you can easily land up in the pre-skilling training, you can easily get the letter of intent as it is written on the website. Fine. So this is the basics of preparation plan, and I have given you that. Do subscribe to us if you want more insights of it, number one. If you want more such videos where I give you proper preparation strategies, proper resources, even the free resources, go ahead, follow us, and follow us on all the social media handles. You can connect with us. You can comment below this video to tell me if you're facing any problem. I'll solve that out for you. Fine. Alongside that, whatever good you've learned in this video, जो भी अच्छा सीखा है, keep spreading it. Spread it as much as you can. जिसको जरूरत है उसको जाके बताओ. Keep doing good. Good will come back to you. Okay. Have a wonderful day ahead. I'll take your leave. That's all for today. Thank you.